Hi, I'm Zeb, and over the past couple of months, I've had the opportunity to extensively use the new COROS Nomad and the COROS Apex 4 watch. I've been using these two watches for everything from daily use to my morning runs to my mountain adventures. In this video, we're going to dive into the specs and features of these two watches, the differences between them, and why you might choose one over the other. I'll also touch on things that I like and don't like, as well as features that I'd like to be added in the future. Let's take a look. Before I touch on all the awesome features that these watches hold, let's compare the physical differences between these two. The COROS Nomad has a case size of 47.8 millimeters, whereas the Apex 4 comes in a 46 millimeter version, as well as a 42 millimeter version. From a weight perspective, the Nomad weighs 61 grams with a silicone band, and the 46 millimeter Apex weighs 64 grams with a silicone band. Comparing the Nomad and the 46 millimeter Apex 4, which is the one that I'm wearing here, their display size is both 1.3 inches, and they both have the same resolution at 260 by 260 pixels. They use the exact same screens, which is a third generation memory and pixel touchscreen, but they do differ in the screen material. The Nomad uses a hardened mineral glass, whereas the Apex 4 uses sapphire glass, which is extremely scratch resistant. The covers for both these watches are fiber reinforced polymer, but the bezels are slightly different, with the Nomad having a fiber reinforced plus aluminium alloy bezel, and the Apex 4 having a grade 5 titanium alloy bezel, which gives it that slightly more premium feel and look. Both watches feature a digital dial, a back button, and an action button. They both have the same water resistance at 5 ATM, but the battery life in the Apex 4 is slightly better, with a few extra GPS modes that can make the battery life last up to 65 hours. The only other main physical difference between these two watches is the speaker that the Apex 4 has. Okay, so the COROS Apex does edge out the Nomad in terms of premium specs just a little bit, but in US dollars it is just over $100 more, so it kind of makes sense. They both do use the same heart rate sensor and the same processor. So on the software and speed performance side of things, you're not really losing out with the Nomad. So build quality aside, they do also have some slight differences in terms of features. The Nomad has a ton of different fishing options, so if you're a keen angler, it could be a great option for you. There's heaps to choose from depending on your type of fishing activity, and it's not really something that's seen on other watches. That is something the Apex is lacking. So, if you are a keen fisherman, then maybe the Nomad is for you. Now, both these watches have built-in microphones. This is pretty cool because it allows you to use COROS's adventure journaling feature. When you're out on a run or a hike or any other kind of activity, the adventure journaling feature allows you to make voice note pins along the way. I think this application could be really handy if you're climbing or doing more technical activities. It allows you to make quick notes about the beta or route conditions without having to stop. You can just activate the voice pin and speak out loud while you keep moving. Your location is also tagged on these voice pins, so when you're looking over your activity later, you can see exactly where you made those notes, which can be super handy for future trips or sharing information with other people. One extra thing that the Apex has is, in addition to the microphone, it also has an actual speaker, as opposed to just the buzzer that's on the Nomad. This allows for a wider range of sounds and noises to emit from the watch. The Apex also has the capability to take phone calls. This is really cool because it means I can just answer on my watch and I don't have to pull my phone out to talk to someone. I can stay hands-free and still have a conversation. The one downside is that you can only accept incoming calls. You can't make phone calls from the watch. Both these watches have full color topo mapping capabilities. And for the Nomad especially, a watch that only retails for $349 US, that's really impressive. I found the maps to be very fast and responsive. I'm able to zoom in and zoom out very quickly to get my bearings. This is also where I'm a huge fan of COROS's mobile app, as I'm able to easily create routes from within the app and sync them with the watch. It's seriously the easiest process I've ever had to get maps onto my watch. I think COROS manages battery life extremely well, even when I'm running it on all systems GPS. If I want to squeeze a little bit more battery life out of my Apex, does also have an endurance mode. The endurance GPS mode basically analyzes when to use a specific GPS signal, like when one's stronger, and when to turn one off, which helps to save battery. It means you might not get as accurate of a reading all the time, but if you're on a really long mission where battery life is key, then it's a great option that the Nomad lacks. Before I started using COROS's watches, I was using another brand of watch, and I've got to say, since I've switched, I don't see myself going back. Yes, COROS sent me these watches, but if I genuinely didn't like the product, I would let you know. I found their watches user interface and the COROS app to be really amazing. It's very intuitive and straightforward to use, and I'm a huge fan of the touchscreen and digital dial options that the COROS Nomad and Apex give you. COROS has a huge range of watch face options, and you can even create your own custom ones. I appreciate all the small details as well, like the watch band strap that just clicks into place and is very comfortable to wear all day long. One thing I have noticed is that both these watches do use a memory and pixel screen, but I do find that the Nomad just seems to be that little bit clearer and brighter. That's most likely due to the fact that it uses mineral glass as opposed to the Apex's sapphire glass. Although the sapphire glass is much stronger and more scratch resistant, you do just get a slightly clearer picture and a bit less glare with the mineral glass on the Nomad. So if the screen brightness and image viewing experience is really important to you, you might find you prefer the Nomad just a little bit more. I really like the sapphire glass on the Apex 4, even if that means a little bit more glare and a slightly less bright viewing experience. Personally, it's barely noticeable, and you only can really see it when you're comparing the two watches side by side. I do quite a bit of rock climbing, and most of the time I can't be bothered taking off my watch, or I want to leave it on to track some of my climbs. Having that harder, tougher, more scratch resistant glass gives me that little bit of peace of mind when I'm struggling up rock faces outdoors. For my personal use, I find COROS's watches to be pretty well rounded. One feature I would like to see would be a Climb Pro feature or something similar, like on Garmin's or Sunto's options. This gives a detailed view of each climb on a route instead of just the overall elevation throughout the whole entire route. But COROS seems to be pretty good at supporting and updating their software, so I'm excited to see what new features they bring out in the future. One thing I would really love to see on COROS's watches is a continuous 7-day training load. I love being able to see the load I'm putting on my body throughout the week, but it is annoying that it resets every Monday, especially because my current training plan isn't set from Monday to Sunday. So having it reset is a little bit annoying. On the COROS app, you can see a continuous 7-day training load, but I do wish it's a feature that they would add to their watches. So if you're tossing up between the Nomad and the Apex 4, I think these are the main points you should consider. The Nomad is going to give you a slightly brighter and better viewing experience. Another thing to keep in mind is that the Nomad does have a host of fishing features that the Apex 4 lacks. I think the Apex 4 just lends itself a little bit better to the more adventurous mountain activities. You get a little bit better battery life, a tougher watch, and if you have reception, being able to take a call and remain hands-free is a pretty nice feature. Not everyone wants a big chunky watch on their wrist. The Apex does give you the option of 2 watch sizes, a 42mm and a 46. And the Nomad is slightly bigger still at 47.8mm. So after getting this awesome opportunity to use these watches after the past couple months, I'm definitely going to be keeping the Apex 4 on my wrist for all my mountain adventures. I'm hoping to get out for some great trips this summer, and I'll definitely be taking this watch along to track my routes and help me navigate along the way. So those are my thoughts on the COROS Nomad and the COROS Apex 4. There are still a few things I'd like to see added to these watches, but they're mostly software updates, so hopefully we'll see those in the future. I really think COROS strike that nice balance between features and price point, packing a whole load of cool options into a watch that's not crazy expensive. They're definitely not cheap, but if you are wanting a rugged smartwatch to track your outdoor activities, then I'd definitely consider these two. If you want to see an awesome fast packing micro adventure where I use the COROS Nomad quite extensively, check out this video up here. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.